Hello and welcome to the JB&M Sports Fanatic channel. Thank you for joining me for this video. And it looks like the Green Bay Packers are at it again, looking at another quarterback, this time quarterback Donald Hammond. And he's going to get a workout for the Green Bay Packers. This is interesting because the Green Bay Packers, as we know, they've brought in a few quarterbacks as of late, Blake Bortles and Ben Kurt over the past 10 days. And so now they're going to bring Donald in as well. And this just goes to show that obviously they're doing their due diligence. And we all know this time of year it's not uncommon to see quarterbacks, extra quarterbacks come in for more camp arms. But this year it seems like there's a lot more emphasis on making sure that they do their due diligence just in case Aaron Rodgers is not returning with the Packers. They need to be ready for that scenario. But I have seen some reports about Jordan Love and questioning whether or not, Green Bay's actually confident in him for this year, things of that sort. And I mean, it's all just speculation right now until we have some confirmed information. But I mean, that just goes to show, they're making sure that they look at every possible quarterback available. You see the same thing going on with the Houston Texans and the amount of quarterbacks that they're bringing on as well. So certainly understand them doing their due diligence in that process, as you're going to need to make sure you have another quarterback if Aaron Rodgers is not ready to go. But with that being said, so a little bit more about Donald. He's actually from Air Force, former Air Force quarterback, Donald Hammond III, actually. And so he's Air Force all-time leading passer efficiency at 164.09. He averaged 10.6 yards per attempt, threw for 18 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, while rushing for 924 yards and 22 touchdowns for Air Force, and that's over the span of 2018 to 2019. So that right there just goes to show, obviously, dual threat type of quarterback, and yeah, very effective. Particularly, his better passing season came perhaps his last year there in 2019, and that year he was 56 for 111, so about 50% completion, which is not, doesn't leap out at you in terms of completion percentage by any means. But 1,300 yards passing, averaging 11.9 yards per attempt, and 13 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, and a QBR of 177.9. And so, but due to an honor violation related to academics, that led for Hammond to miss the 2020 season and ultimately separating from the academy, in which, normally if a player had missed the season in years past, that would have been a red flag. But there's a lot of players that missed this past season due to COVID related issues. And so it wasn't as big a red flag. But obviously, he did not get drafted in the draft. So we all know how that goes. This is really a great opportunity for him to just go there and show what he can really do. Because obviously, should Aaron Rodgers not be there, this guy definitely has some mobility to him. Obviously, we know what we've seen in college what Jordan Love looks like. We don't know what he looks like as an NFL pro, but this is someone that, is a very intriguing guy to bring in and just have a workout for. So we'll see if that works. If he ends up getting a practice squad spot or anything like that, we'll have to keep an eye out for that, but certainly something to keep an eye out for. And so, yeah, but back in Air Force, he in 2019 he did lead Air Force to an 11-2 record and had them ranked 21st in his only season as a full-time starter, I should also point out. And so there's a lot that's definitely intriguing about him as a prospect, but he's pretty raw. It's going to need to continue to be developed and just see where that goes from there. So short term for Green Bay, even if Aaron Rodgers is not there, short term, he's just probably going to be better a fit just to bring in and get him in, to get some reps with him and just see how he develops from there. Definitely, he's not the most experienced guy coming out of college. And then not to mention, running Green Bay's offense. There's a whole lot of things that he would have to, continue to develop over time. And so, but that's just it. You want to show the coaching staff that there's something worth waiting on so he can continue to develop because he's got a lot of skills. There's no doubt about it. Very good, intriguing prospect. And so from that sense, it's just a matter of hanging around long enough until you get some type of an opportunity. That is for sure. And so, and just to look a little bit about some of the stuff that they had about him when he was coming out of Air Force. And so to look at some of the positives that they have about Donald when he was coming out, in this past draft in terms of his evaluation. They said that he had good lower body strength, and he plays with good strength. I mean, he's tough, willing to stand in the pocket, and effective operating Air Force triple option offense. Now, obviously, they're not going to go out there in the NFL unit, especially for the Green Bay Packers, and run a triple option. That's not happening. But he's definitely someone that's not afraid to, take a hit in the pocket, and so that can bode well for him in that sense. And they're saying that although infrequent, he operated in concepts that translate to the NFL level, and that he showed good eyes and very good understanding of concepts, operated with good timing and footwork, and through consistently came and the ball consistently came out on time. And so that goes to show, good footwork. And that's stuff that, obviously that will translate very well for him, regardless of what offense he ran at the collegiate level. They say he has good arm strength, and the ball naturally pops off his hand and throws a nice tight spiral, can deliver field throws with zip and put the ball down the field and throws the ball in the right spot. So those are some of the positives. Obviously, he's athletic, and so, he can create plays due to that athleticism, good body control, all of that stuff, and above average pocket movement, they say. And so some of the negatives they had out on him is that they say, obviously, as I mentioned before, he played in a run heavy offense, and so he rarely threw the ball, and had receivers wide open down the field when they did throw it. And so obviously, that's probably because everybody was gearing up for the triple option. And so when you do pass it, there's going to be some open players. So, that did not, obviously, that they're going to consider that a negative. But we'll just have to see how that translate. They're also saying short with a maxed out frame. So, I mean, he's 6 feet tall. So for your quarterbacks, you're probably looking for at least, you prefer that they're about that 6'4" size ideally, if you're talking about the ideal quarterback, or maybe a little taller. But he's only 6 feet, so he's short. But we've seen short quarterbacks succeed. You've got your Drew Brees, your Russell Wilsons, all of that. And they're saying that he's efficient runner, but not truly explosive. So yeah, so basically they're saying he's not going to be a Lamar Jackson. He's not going to go out there and just purely dominate by speed or anything like that. Not saying that that's all that Lamar Jackson does, but when it comes to just him as a runner, yes, he runs, but he's not, it's not because of his speed. And so in the NFL, yeah, that's important to note. He's not going to be running away from defenders. And let's see what else. Was not asked to make true drop back progressions more than once or twice per game. A mental clock will need improvement with faster NFL games. And that's something that he's just obviously going to have to hang around, get better at throughout camp, get some time in the preseason and just accumulate, to the speed of the game over time. That's not a knock on him at all. That's just, the system that he's from. And so he's going to have to continue to just that transition over to the NFL may take a little bit of time, but I mean, if he can just hang around the league long enough until that clock adjusts for him, then that could bode well for him. So really, a very intriguing prospect, and excited to see, how this looks for him moving forward. Hopefully, it works out in Green Bay, but if not, he's just a very talented prospect, and really looking forward to seeing how things work out for him moving forward for sure. But with that being said, thank you so much for joining me for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, more news continues to drop. You can be sure to find it here. So thanks again for watching, and see you guys next time.